William Henry Harrison was an American hero of the War of 1812 and had served for years in both houses of Congress. Now he was setting his sights on the White House. The year was 1840, and everything was going his way. Harrison was the favored presidential candidate. He promoted himself as a war hero and a farmer with a log cabin legacy and a hankering for hard cider. His campaign featured massive hard-drinking rallies with plenty of political doodads, emblems, and party favors, buckskin balls, and patriotic streamers. Set against the reclusive incumbent president, Martin Van Buren, Harrison's blustery, steel-eyed man-of-action image worked like a charm. More than 82% of the eligible populace voted that year, and Harrison locked up 53% of the popular vote, along with an overwhelming majority of the Electoral College. The problem was that Harrison was exhausted. The road to the White House had been rugged, and Henry had wholeheartedly thrown himself into the hard-drinking, glad-handing, and in-your-face campaigning. He was also 65-plus years old and had never paid any attention to his health. Real guys never do. Inauguration Day arrived and the rain fell. A bitterly cold wind gusted down Pennsylvania Avenue. The president-elect knew that it was his image that had won him the White House, so he was determined to live up to his own PR. Studying the wet politicians under umbrellas and red-faced voters in overcoats, he decided to show his fearlessness against the elements. They voted in a man's man, and by damn, that was what he'd give them. Grinning, Harrison removed his hat and cast aside his coat. With confident strides, he took his wet place near the podium, placed his hand on the sodden Bible, and afterwards roared out one of the longest inaugural addresses in the history of the presidency. He got an overwhelming ovation, and a few days later, a very bad cold. When he arrived at the presidential residence, he was beset by chills, with a fever on the way. He pushed himself to make appointments, repay favors, placate supporters, and get the wheels of government turning again. By the end of that first day, he ordered an alcohol rub and promptly went to bed. He was worse with every passing day, and in no time at all, he had a full-blown case of pneumonia. Exactly 1 month after William Henry Harrison's display of manly disregard for the weather, the new president, the popular war hero, that good old hard-drinking tough guy, was pronounced dead from respiratory infection. He had the shortest presidency in American history.